This program is produced by the volunteers of Tellico Village Broadcasting.
Hi, I'm Annette Schmidt, here with another edition of Highlights and Happenings for the Homeowners Association of Tellico Village. And joining me today is Ed Wilson. And Ed is the current chair of the HOA POA Highway Safety Committee. Thanks for joining us today, Ed.
Well, thanks, Annette, for having me.
Why don't we start with a good definition of what the Safety Committee is?
The Highway Safety Committee works primarily with the Tennessee Department of Transportation, otherwise known as TDOT. We also occasionally work with the town of Von Orr and Monroe and Loudoun counties when it affects Tellico Village safety.
Ed, who are your current Highway Safety Committee members?
Well, we have Deb Marshall from Tahiti, Dennis Beer, and we're very fortunate to have two former HOA presidents, Rick Carlin and Bill Taylor. Also, Clayton Taylor is from the POA.
All right, and what projects is your committee currently working on?
Well, currently we're working in Monroe County. Deb Marshall is doing a wonderful job there with the 411 Niles Ferry intersection. She's met with Mayor Lovingood of Von Orr and also set up a meeting with the whole committee with Representative Lowell Russell, State Representative Lowell Russell, and Representative Russell has committed to try to fund intersection improvements at that in the 2020 Tennessee budget.
Right there for Highway
411 and Niles Ferry. Safety improvements.
And what else are you working on?
Well, we are carrying on a couple projects that we started in previous years. The first one is lights at the 444-72 intersection.
What do you mean by lights? And that's where Sloan's Hardware and the Food Lion. So what about the lights?
Correct. That's that intersection. And next month, they're going to bid street lights. I have 3 street lights on Highway 72 and 4 street lights on Highway 444 at that intersection.
That'll be a great improvement. So what else have you got going on?
Well, TDOT is going to install a merge lane on 444 coming off 321. So if you're coming across the bridge and going to turn right on the Tellico Parkway, there'll be a new merge lane instead of the yield sign.
Oh, that'll be a big improvement. That'll be a big improvement. And what else?
Well, Rick Carlin and Dennis Beard have been working with TDOT on removing dead trees and trees that are about to fall on the parkway. And TDOT has been out here numerous times and carried off truckloads of dead wood of trees that are about to fall. Also, TDOT is going to start vertical mowing of the right-of-way soon. Excellent,
and I've seen some of those TDOT trucks loaded with lots of limbs and tree pieces and parts. They all sound like great projects, and they're certainly aimed at keeping Tellico Village safer. What is vertical mowing?
Vertical mowing is a process where you take a deck mower and attach it with hydraulic arms to a tractor, and you turn it sideways and it trims the tree limbs as they encroach the right-of-way.
All right, and why is that important to trim those trees like that?
Well, very simply, Annette, it's about safety. You know, every year in the United States, 200 people die in strikes with deer, moose, and elk. In addition, there are 1.3 million accidents in animal strikes. TDOT tells us that animal strikes go down dramatically when they clear back the right-of-way.
It makes good sense.
Vegetation management plays a critical role when it comes to providing safe roadways. It is essential when looking at sight distance, which is the amount of distance which is needed to safely see oncoming traffic while pulling out onto the roadway. Vegetation management not only provides adequate sight distance of oncoming vehicles, but is also proven to reduce accidents, even involving deer crashes. This makes sense when considering that drivers can better see deer approaching the roadway, and with less vegetative covering, the deer are more likely to remain farther away from the travelway.
When are they going to start the vertical mowing?
Well, that's up to TDOT, but they're currently scheduled to do that at the end of the month, and that's going to be subject to equipment availability and weather.
Well, what kinds of trees will TDOT vertically mow?
Generally speaking, pine, mimosa, and privet. The mimosa and privet are invasive species that grow very rapidly at the edge of the forest. Our native oaks, maples, and hickories will generally not be affected by this process.
Excellent, because we do have a lot of those fast-growing species that you mentioned. So that we can set the right expectation for our villagers who are driving along the parkway and may find that to be just a little bit of a shock. Tell us what we can expect to see after the vertical mowing.
Well, it's been several years since, especially the north side of 444 has had vertical mowing. So we will be mowing large limbs, and very honestly, it's going to look pretty rough. It's going to look ragged. Now, after a couple months, this will heal up. So please be patient. And the good news is that going forward, they'll be committed to doing this twice a year, so they'll be cutting small twigs instead of limbs, so the impact will be much less.
So we need to be patient because these trees will heal, and it's all about safety, right?
That's right. It's all about safety.
So before we close, is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
Yes, TDOT is doing this for our safety, for our family's safety, for the safety of the traveling public. And also, this is TDOT's standard operating procedure everywhere. They do this process on interstates, on primary routes, on secondary routes. They do this is the same process they use everywhere else.
So frankly, we can be glad that we're being included in this process, and it's a real safety measure.
It will improve our safety.
Wonderful. How can villagers contact the Highway Safety Committee if they have a question or they want to make comments? How can they reach you?
The Highway Safety Committee has an email address, hsctv.org@gmail.com. That stands for Highway Safety Committee, telecovillage.org@gmail.com.
Wonderful. And thank you so much, Ed, for being with us today. And frankly, this Highway Safety Committee and the work that you're doing is another great example of the collaborations and partnerships that exist here in the village to keep us informed and safe. So I also want to thank the crew and the staff of Tellico Village Broadcasting who makes this possible. And as a reminder, HOA is a volunteer membership organization, and we are focused on keeping our members engaged, informed, and heard. If you want to get more information about the HOA, please visit our website at hoatv.org, and you can get links to all the other websites that you might need to get to, such as Tellico Life with all the calendar of events and everything that's taking place in the village. But again, thanks, Ed, for joining us, and until the next time, let's go out and enjoy the village.